What if a peaceful march turns into a citywide showdown in seconds? Legend millions of voices rising, then suddenly turning to gunfire and tear gas. Across the nation, protesters gathered to shout about Trump's immigration laws, soaring costs, and the war in Iran. In Los Angeles, Denver, Portland, and even Palm Beach, the crowd swelled beyond expectation. At first, the streets were filled with banners and chants demanding a new president. Then something shifted. An invisible line of tension crackled in the air. On the outskirts of the Department of Homeland Security, the energy erupted into chaos. Rocks and bottles streaked across asphalt, hitting federal officers in the face. 2 police officers were wounded, their throats bleeding as they stumbled to safety. DHS agents shouted orders that blurred with the shouts of the crowd. The air filled with smoke from tear gas cans, seeping into the nostrils of the panicked demonstrators. Video footage shows a wave of protesters running, eyes wide, faces streaked with tears. A few brave souls pressed forward, throwing objects at agents, some aimed at the officers' shields. The federal response was swift. Tear gas canisters launched from the building's windows. In Denver, the scene mirrored that of Los Angeles, with smoke bombs lighting up the sky. Federal agents found themselves surrounded by a wall of protesters and counter-demonstrators. They fought to maintain order while being attacked from all sides. In Portland, masked agitators sprayed "Nazis" across an ICE facility's brick walls. The word clung like graffiti to the building's facade, a stark reminder of the conflict's depth. While in Palm Beach, protesters marched right up to President Trump's backyard. Coast Guard vessels hovered nearby, their lights cutting through dusk. Even the quietest neighborhoods felt the ripple of unrest. Despite the violence, many marches remained peaceful and orderly. In New York City, tens of thousands walked without incident, chanting for change. The NYPD reported 0 protest-related arrests that day, a stark contrast to other cities. Every city's narrative spun a different thread. Some stitched peace, others stitched conflict. The federal agents' uniforms glistened with sweat as they clashed with angry crowds. Footage on X captured the moment when an officer fired a tear gas canister toward a group of protesters. Their faces turned blue from smoke, their bodies bending in a desperate attempt to escape. Some protesters ran through streets, leaving behind shattered windows and broken dreams. The Department of Homeland Security's headquarters became a battlefield of words and weapons. "Assault on federal agents," read the headline, as DHS released a statement about arrests. A handful of individuals were taken into custody for assaulting officers. But the larger picture remained elusive. What drove the shift from chant to chaos? The crowd's energy seemed to pulse with an unseen rhythm. Could it have been a single moment that sparked a fire across multiple cities? Perhaps a protester's shout, a police officer's word, or a sudden tear gas burst. Some say the line between protest and riot is razor thin, a balance held by trust and fear. And when that balance tips, the entire nation can feel the tremors of unrest. The footage shows not only the violence but also the heartbreak, faces pressed against broken glass, eyes brimming with tears. In Los Angeles, the Metropolitan Detention Center became another flashpoint for conflict. Federal agents there faced an onslaught of objects and hostile chants. The scene was chaotic, smoke billowing, officers scrambling, protesters pounding the building's doors. Police officers' boots pounded the pavement as they tried to keep the crowd at bay. Every city's story seemed to repeat the same pattern: calm, then a sudden surge of anger. It raises an unsettling question. How much tension can a society tolerate before it erupts? The answer lies in the cracks within our institutions and the people's sense of powerlessness. A protest that begins with hope can turn into a nightmare if voices are silenced too harshly. In Denver, federal agents were seen mixing up with street protesters as both sides threw smoke bombs at each other. Even though the city's police department reported arrests for failing to disperse, the crowd continued to roar. The clash between the government and its citizens was starkly visible on camera. While some protesters marched peacefully, others unleashed a storm of violence that left many injured. The nation watched as an ordinary day turned into a battlefield across multiple cities. What will happen next? Will the protests calm or intensify further? At the heart of it all lies a single truth. When people feel unheard, they can become explosive. And in this case, the explosive was not a bomb, but a wave of anger that rippled through streets nationwide. The moment we reach the climax, did the violence subside or did it ignite new flames? In every city, The story ended with a lingering question about who holds the power to keep peace. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more updates.